Have you ever felt like you're just stuck on a loop? Repeating the same patterns in your relationships, at work, or even in how you see yourself? Well, today we're going to talk about Adlerian therapy. It's a really fascinating way of looking at these patterns not as who you are, but as part of a story you wrote for yourself a long, long time ago. A story that you absolutely have the power to revise. Just think about that for a second. The rules you live by, those gut reactions you have, did you consciously choose them? Or does it feel more like you're following a script that you never even realized was written?
If that feeling hits home, trust me, you are not alone. So many of us are in that boat. But the good news is, there's a really powerful way to finally pick up the pen and become the true author of your own life. So let's get into how it works.
Okay, so the very first step in this whole process, it's probably not what you're thinking. It's not about jumping in and trying to fix what's broken. It's about building a very unique kind of partnership.
See, in the Adlerian view, therapy has to start with an equal relationship. The therapist isn't some all-knowing expert who has all the answers. Nope, they're more like a co-investigator, working right alongside you. The whole process is built on a foundation of encouragement, because that's what's needed to push back against the feelings of discouragement that keep us stuck in that old story.
So once that foundation of trust is there, the real detective work begins. This is where you and your co-investigator start piecing together the plot, the characters, and most importantly, the rules of the life story you're living right now.
And the central concept here is something called the style of life. Now that might sound a little complex, but you can really just think of it as your personal rule book. It's this whole collection of beliefs and strategies you came up with when you were a little kid, all to figure out how the world works and, how you could find your spot and feel like you belong. So how do you actually uncover this hidden rule book? Well, you look at three key areas. First, there's the family constellation. That means looking at things like your birth order to see what kind of strategies you use to find your place in the family. Second, you look at the life tasks. Basically, how well is your story working for you in the three big areas of life: work, friendship, and love. And third, and this one is so fascinating, you look at your early recollections.
Now get this, here's a mind-blowing idea. The very first memories you can pull up from your childhood are not just random snapshots. Adlerians believe we hang on to specific early memories because they are perfect metaphors for our most fundamental beliefs about ourselves, about other people, and about the world in general. They basically reveal our private logic. So for example, if all of your earliest memories are of you being by yourself, it might point to a core belief you formed way back then, like, I'm on my own in this world, and I just have to handle everything myself. And think about how that one belief, just that one rule in your book, can shape countless decisions and feelings throughout your entire adult life.
So, after all that investigation, we get to the insight phase. This is that moment where all the clues, your role in the family, your struggles in life, the themes from your earliest memories, it all just clicks into place. It's the big aha moment, where the old story suddenly makes perfect sense.
This process helps reveal what are called basic mistakes in our thinking. Now that term sounds a little harsh, but they aren't character flaws, not at all. They're just faulty assumptions that got written into our personal rule book. Things like overgeneralizing a few setbacks into I always fail, or chasing that impossible goal of I have to please everybody to be okay. The whole point of therapy is to transform these limiting beliefs into new, empowering insights.
And what's really crucial here is how you get to this insight. It is not a diagnosis that's handed down from on high. Instead, the therapist offers these gentle, tentative ideas, asking things like, could it be that you learned really early on that you had to be perfect to feel loved? This collaborative style makes sure that you're the one who owns the insight. You're the one driving the change. But look, insight by itself isn't enough, right? The final, and honestly the most important phase, is all about taking that aha moment and turning it into real action. This is where you actively start writing and living a brand new chapter. And Adlerian therapy gives you some really concrete tools for this. You might be encouraged to act as if, literally, behave as if you already were that confident, connected person you want to be. Or the therapist might ask you the question, what would be different if this problem were suddenly solved? Which helps you imagine and then build a roadmap to that new reality. And finally, there's the simple practice of catching oneself, just learning to notice when you're slipping into the old story's rules, and then making a conscious choice to respond in a new way.
So, what's the whole point of all this work? What's the ultimate goal of rewriting your life story? It's not just about, personal happiness or being more successful. It's actually about something much, much deeper.
The ultimate aim is to increase what Alfred Adler called Gemeinschaftsgefühl. I know, it's a mouthful, but it translates to social interest. And what it really means is that deep, profound feeling of belonging to the human community. That sense that you are connected to others and that you have something valuable to contribute to everyone's well-being.
So this entire process, from building trust to digging into your past to writing a new chapter, is all designed to move you from a story of discouragement and maybe isolation toward a new one that's rooted in courage, in connection, and in belonging. You're not just fixing yourself, you're finding your place in the world.
And that really just leaves us with one final thought. If you had the power to pick up that pen right now and start revising your own script, what's the first sentence of your new story?